So we are going to start a new chapter, plant form and function. So in this chapter we will study about the plants, their stem, leaves and the fruits. What kind of fruits we have and what are the modification of these parts. Alright, let's study them in detail.
Life is impossible without plants. You find plants everywhere around you. Some are small, while others are big. Some are found in water, and others are present on land, in your house, school, farmhouses, and on roadsides. Types of categories. 1. Small plants, smaller than your size. 2. Medium-sized plants, about your size. 3. Big plants, taller than you. Plant systems. Dig up a small plant, say a mustard plant, and examine it carefully. You will notice that the plant has two parts. The underground part of the plant is called the root system. It consists of a main root and a number of branching roots. The green part above the ground is called the shoot system. It consists of the stem, leaves, buds, flowers and fruits. The root. Gently pull out a mustard plant and a grass plant from the soil. Examine their roots. Are they the same? A mustard plant will have a main root from which a number of branch roots arise. Such a root is called a taproot. Pea, tulsi, radish, carrot and turnip are examples of some other plants that have taproots. In a grass plant, a number of thin, fiber-like roots arise from the base of the stem. They spread out in the soil and give support to the plant. These are known as fibrous roots. Maize, wheat and barley are examples of plants that have fibrous roots. The two types of root system are taproot system and fibrous root system. Categories of plants. Based on size, you can divide the plants into three categories. Herbs are small plants with a green soft stem. They do not grow more than 3 to 4 feet in height as shown. Example: mustard, sunflower, petunia, pea, wheat, paddy and balsam. Shrubs are medium-sized plants with hard and woody stems. Many branches are seen rising just above the ground. Example: China rose, oleander, rose lemon, lantana, bougainvillea and henna, mehendi. Trees are tall plants with hard and woody stems. They have a main trunk from which branches and leaves arise as shown. Trees generally survive for a number of years. Example: mango, neem, peepal, babul, gulmohar, amalthus. The system. Observe the shoot system of a plant. The main axis of the shoot system, on which all the parts such as leaves, flowers, buds and fruits are borne, is called the stem of the plant. The points from where the leaves arise are known as the nodes. The portion of the stem between two nodes is called an internodes. At the tip of the plant you will notice a bud. This is called an apical bud. The plant grows in height due to the growth in this bud region. The leaves make an angle with the stem. This angle is known as the axil. Buds known as axillary buds are present in the axils. These give rise to the many branches of a plant. Transport of water. Cut a balsam plant at the base. Place it in a beaker half filled with water. Put a few drops of red fountain pen ink in the water and stir. Let the plant stay in the beaker for a day. Examine it the next day. Do you observe thin red lines in the stem and leaves? If the plant has flowers with white petals, you will notice thin red lines on the petals also. Where did they come from? How did the red water rise through the stem to reach the leaves? This experiment shows that there are thin tubes present in the stem through which water is transported to all parts of the shoot system. Stem for storage. In potato, the spherical shaped structure, which you consume very often as a part of your food, is a modified stem. It has several markings on its surface. These markings are the dormant buds, which are commonly called eyes. In onion, the stem is highly reduced into a disc-like structure. The upper end of this stem has a terminal bud which is surrounded by two types of scale leaves. The inner scale leaves are modified. These are fleshy and store food and water, while the outer ones are dry. Axillary buds are present in the axils of leaves. In cactus plants, the stem becomes fleshy green and leaf-like and stores water for long periods. Prickly poppy, Opuntia, is another such type of plant. Modifications of stem. In climbers like cucurbita, ground or passion flower, the stem is very weak and needs support. You must have observed some small thread-like structures arising from the stem in some of these plants. These thread-like structures are called the tendrils. The tendrils coil around any object in the neighborhood and thereby help the plant to climb up. The leaf. The leaf is a flattened green structure. It arises from the node of a stem or its branches. Leaves differ in shape and size. The flat green part of a leaf is known as the leaf blade or lamina. It is attached to the stem by means of a short stalk called the petiole. The region of attachment of the leaf with the stem is called the leaf base. Arrangement of leaves. Three types of leaf arrangement are commonly noticed in plants. They are alternate. A single leaf arises at each node and on opposite side of the previous leaf. Example, mango, sunflower. Opposite. Two leaves arise at each node opposite to each other. Example, calotropis, guava. Whorled. More than two leaves arise at each node and are arranged in a whorl or circle. Examples, oleander, asparagus. Largest leaf, giant water lily, Victoria regia, more than 1 meter in diameter. Modifications of leaf. In xerophytic plants like cacti, Opuntia, the leaves are modified into spines. These spines check the loss of water from the plant body and thus help the plant to conserve water. In sweet pea and garden pea, some leaves are modified into thin coiled thread-like tendrils. These help the plant in climbing. In onions, the fleshy leaves store food material. In some plants, the leaves are modified to trap insects. Such plants are called insectivorous plants. Example, pitcher plant, sundew plants, and bladderwort. Structure of a flower. Flowers vary in many ways. Most flowers have the same basic structure. A typical flower has a stalk called a pedicel, which joins it to the stem. The uppermost part of the pedicel is wider and is known as the thalamus. On the top of the thalamus, the different parts of the flower are arranged in rings or whorls. The outmost whorl consists of green leaf-like structures called sepals. These protect the flower when it is still a bud. Next to the sepals are the petals. These are generally brightly colored and scented to attract insects that help in reproduction. If we remove the petals, we can see the stamens. These are the male parts of the flower. Each stamen consists of a thin, green stalk or filament with a bag-like head called the anther. The anther contains pollen grains, which are fine dust-like particles. These take part in reproduction. In the flower rises a flask-shaped structure called the pistil or carpel. This is the female part of the flower. Its base is slightly swollen and is called the ovary. The short upper part is the style, and above it is the stigma. It traps the pollen grains coming from the anthers. Inside the ovary are small bead-like structures called ovules. Function of flower. A flower is the seat or organ of sexual reproduction and results in the formation of fruits and seeds. Seeds on germination give rise to new plants. A flower thus results in multiplication of plants. It is the source of food for many insects. For example, bees collect nectar from flowers and make honey. Flowering plants are grown in gardens and in homes because of the bright colors and fragrance of the flowers. They thus beautify the surroundings and provide aesthetic value. Pollination. The pollen grains are transferred from the anther to the stigma of either the same flower or of another flower of the same kind by wind, water, or insects. This process is known as pollination. After pollination, the ovary swells up and changes into a fruit, and the ovules change into seeds. A fruit is generally made up of a fruit wall and seeds. The figure shows the cutaway view of a mango, lemon, and apple. The seed. All seeds contain a baby plant called the embryo. The embryo contains the plumule, which grows into the shoot, and the radicle, which grows into the root. The seed leaves or cotyledons contain food for the baby plant. Generally, a seed coat protects the seed.
So this was all about the chapter which was related with the plant, their function and the flower of the